Do, 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 do. I am just getting ready to do some things in this stream. There's that. Hang in there, my chat. I don't want to see the collaboration thing. How can I get rid of this? Actually, can I pop out the chat? Oh, yes, I can. Oh, that's wonderful. I like that. Because that means I can put it here, drag it down the side of my other monitor. Doo, doo, doo. Oh, that's handy. I quite like that. And here's my stream controls. And I can do project right there. And I can pin this guy. And that's good. And I can paste my stream announcement. And I can paste my announcement over here. Although I feel kind of cheesy about that because they're still actively live. But that's okay. They'll forgive me. And now I do this and go to the single cam focus. And hi! It's Wednesday afternoon, August 21st. Oh, excuse me. And I'm Rob, that developer dad. And I'm going to continue working on my NPC generator application. So this morning I pulled all of the connection information that I need to use when I'm connecting to my language model out of the code that does that and into configuration files. And of course, later we're going to switch that so that it's not in a configuration file, but rather is hidden in some secrets. And because my phone is behaving itself better today, I can boop, use that and move around a little bit. And I've got to adjust the angle because it's cutting off the top of my head. And here we are. So it's moving with me. Haha, that's fun. And so yeah, I created basically a semantic kernel configuration class up top here. It's a private read-only. We pass it into the constructor, and we use it when we build our kernel instance down here. And we can build out our function from the request template and all that good stuff. This is all smelly. We should abstract it later because it needs to be a little bit different from what this is, but it's good enough for now. Our max tokens are 500. That might have to get bigger or smaller depending on the function. And here's where we're converting the request parameters. And we come back up here and we execute the LLM call. And it comes back and we extract the result as a string, and that's the answer. We push that into the result on our function response. And everything is shiny and happy. Pardon me. However, it's good enough. Hey, where are you going, camera. I'm over here. Hey, follow me. Silly thing. Hey, you. Follow me over here. Fine, I'll do it manually. I fooled you. Oh, I must have had it sideways or something. We back to following my face now? Yeah, good. And I still have the top of my head cut off. Let's fix that. Center stage is on. Oops. Center stage. I'm almost out of battery. Yikes. There. I'll just make the camera view a little bigger. That's better. And I'll move this way a little bit. And I'll move you over here. There we go. We're in a little better shape now. Okay. So we want to pull the usage information out of the out of all of this stuff. So I guess what we should do is drop a breakpoint here and run the app. And why do we want to extract this usage information from our calls to the LLM? Well, because unless you're hosting locally and you own all of the equipment that the AI is running on, LLMs ain't free. Halfling, retired, dwarf, half-orc, retired. I don't care what their species is or their background. I want a tavern keeper who is not retired. Let's generate that. There's a bug in the retired thing. All right, we've got a lady half-orc. All right, we're well set up to test the AI stuff. And I have a breakpoint up in the LLM. What's it? We can close a lot of this stuff. We don't need the workload manager. We just need the LLM provider. All right. So we'll come out to our UI and we'll trigger this. And I want to babysit the LLM while it does its thing. And then, of course, when it comes back out to our code, we're going to stop on the line that handles the response. Yeah, I gotta. There, 9 of 12 just said in the chat that she was messing with it yesterday locally because I do have it hosted on my local area network. It's not available to the public. It's just hosted within our Wi-Fi zone here. And she said that she created a tavern keeper, but they had retired from something else. And that comes from the background data. So if you select a background for the NPC, it'll roll with that one. If you don't, it'll just basically roll the dice and pick a background at random and incorporate that into their current circumstances. So sometimes the LLM will say that they've retired from their background career. And while that works most of the time, sometimes it gets a little weird. I feel like I kind of want to iterate on what backgrounds there are and how they work and so on and so forth. Because it's the ones that I have in there, I think are more than what's provided through the 5e system reference document. And if I want to keep it pure to that system reference document, I've got to prune out all of the backgrounds that aren't in the SRD. Or I can just say, okay, this rule set is based on but extends that system reference document. So what I want to look at here is this function result. I have not changed the AI prompt to eliminate existing IP yet. I haven't iterated on that part yet. What I'm doing right now is I'm harvesting the counts of tokens that are sent to and received back from the AI so that I can keep track of, excuse me, so I can keep track of the usage. So I need to look into this function result here, and it's more than just a string. It's actually a pretty complex object that comes back from Semantic Kernel and gives us all kinds of useful information like usage. We can see that we used 856 prompt tokens and 240 completion tokens. And I kind of want to keep track of that information. And here's why. Let's open a new note. Here we go. So, AI usage. Token counts. Prompt output. So our prompt, and I'm going to plumb back in here. Function, metadata. There's all kinds of interesting things in here that I don't really use very much. But we've got filter results on the prompt. Oh, that's right. We can do some interesting things on that prompt filter. But that's not what I'm after here. I'm after the usage data. And I've got 856 prompt and 240 completion. All right. Where is my note? Here we are. 856. And I said 240? Okay. And I'm just going to let this fall back to the UI. Boom. Off you go. And yeah, it's locked up here. I think it timed out. That's okay. Oh no. Here we go. We got back, and I'm going to save this townsperson. And we can go back to the list. Let's look for Daria. Here she is, way down the bottom. Okay. So going back to something that 9 of 12 said in the chat, I do want to add to the prompt an instruction that it should avoid using existing intellectual property in its generation. And here's why. I asked it to create a Dragonborn guard for me the other day, and it made a character called Malfurion Stormrage, who lives in Azeroth. And that's a little too close to some copyrighted trademarked material for that exists for a certain world where they craft war, let's say. And so I don't want to have anybody getting in trouble. This is fine. It's running on my local machine. I'll never publish this character or anything like that. But I think once this thing's out in the wild, I'm going to want to make sure it doesn't generate NPCs like Samwise Gamgee or Malfurion Storm Rage or, say, Harry Potter or anything like that. I did find it humorous because I am using Microsoft's Phi 3 Mini model, and it's pretty obvious that some of the data scientists at Microsoft are WoW players, because it looks like a whole lot of World of Warcraft data was used in the training of that model. And I suppose now that Microsoft owns Blizzard, they're well within their rights to do so. But I don't own Microsoft and I don't own Blizzard, so I'd better make sure that I'm not ripping off anybody's IP. So back to why I want to use these token counts. So I've got this stuff, and the prompt was 856 tokens, and the output was 240 tokens. Excuse me. And why is that important? Well, let's open a new window here, and I'm going to pull this over here so that we can kind of see what's what. And I want to go to Azure Open AI Service pricing. Boop. And let's go here. So let's pretend. We're going to play let's pretend that I give in to peer pressure and say, yeah, okay, I'll make this available for people to use. And okay. Holy crap, did they drop the price on GPT-4o Mini again? All right. So let's assume that I'm going to use GPT-3.5 Turbo. It's got a 16K token context window. And pricing, GPT 3.5 Turbo. Yeah. Input is no Microsoft sales. I don't need your help. Input is 0.0005 per 1,000 tokens. Output is 0.0015 per 1,000 tokens. So let's figure out how much that NPC would cost me to generate under if I were using Microsoft's OpenAI platform with the GPT 3.5. Math time. So input cost equals cost equals tokens divided by 1,000 tokens used. I will wrap that in parens times cost per K tokens. So input cost equals 856 divided by 1,000 times 0.0005. Output cost equals 240 divided by 1,000 times 0.0015. And so we have divided by 1,000, we just move the decimal place 3 points to the left. So 0.856 times 0.0005, and then 0.240 times 0.0015. And I'm not going to try to do that in my head. So I'm going to get out the calculator and say 0.856 times decimal 0005 equals 0.000428 dollars. Clear. 0.24 times 0.0015 is 0.00036. Total cost equals, so clear, copy that, plus that equals 0.000428 plus 0.00036 equals string $, 0.000788. So it cost less than 1/100th of a penny to generate that character. That's just in the AI costs. 9 of 12 just posted, I want to go to the herbalist and have Malfurion be the shopkeeper. That would be funny. Although I think he's a guard. So the LLM cost, if I'm using GPT-3.5 in Azure, is $0.0788. So, just for laughs, I'm going to all clear. I has $1 divided by 0.000788. I can make almost 1,300 characters for $1. That ain't bad. That's just the raw LLM costs, though. And hosting in Azure is going to cost me more than just the token usage. I'm going to need to pay for database storage. I'm going to need to pay for application hosting. I'm going to need to pay for some security stuff. So I'm not going to be charging $1 a month and let you create 1,000 characters and store them and all of that stuff. I'm gonna come up with a slightly different subscription model than that not only pays for the hosting costs, but also hopefully pays for a little bit of my time. But it's good to know that, excuse me, for reasonable usage, I'm not going to be breaking the bank to have somebody paying me $10 a month and letting them do like 500 generations and store up to 100 of their NPCs. That is more than reasonable, I think. I don't know who Dan Povenmire is. I'm going to have to look that up. Somebody in the chat, tomatoes cannot be trusted, and you are absolutely correct. I don't trust them. They're nightshades. They're related to Jimson weed and belladonna and all of that stuff. Now they're spicy cousins, chilies. I'll trust a jalapeno before I trust a tomato. How's it going, tomatoes? I'm gonna have to look up who Dan Povenmire is. I have no idea who he is. All right. So we want to capture this usage information and we absolutely want to monitor it. So what do? I'm going to need to, first off, close out of there, LLM access contracts, add a class. Oh gosh. Phineas and Ferb is one of my favorite cartoons. I loved Phineas and Ferb. In fact, I'm not wearing it today, but I do have a Perry the Platypus t-shirt. It's clean and upstairs. I'm going to have to wear that again later this week. And let's say I call this AI usage count. Add that. And it's going to be public, and it's going to be a record. And it's going to have prop int prompt count, prompt tokens, prop int response tokens. Excuse me. And do we also have information about, I gotta restart the app because I want to hit this again because I want to see if we've got the actual model ID attached to this metadata that comes back. So let's create, and I'm just going to let it completely roll the dice. I've got a half elf who's a potter. They're a folk hero. They've got long silver hair. I hope it's not a Harry Potter. Although with, the long hair, they could well be a Harry Potter. And that'll just get me into more trouble. And yes, Phineas and Ferb was a fantastic show. It is not my favorite animated series of all time. That honor is held by Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I am skeptical that there will be another animated series in my lifetime that just all round beats Avatar. It is absolutely by far my favorite. The character development, the plot, the world, everything is just mwah, chef's kiss. I never got into Dragon Ball Z. Um, it didn't appeal to me. I don't know why. Same thing with One Piece. I couldn't get into that either. So I want to look into the metadata, and I don't see. There's just the completions usage in here. And that's our token counts. Gravity Falls, I liked what I watched of that, but it didn't grab me and bring me in. Okay, system fingerprint. No, 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 no. Actually, you know what? I don't need to be looking for this inside the metadata that comes back from Semantic Kernel, because I actually have the model in the config. And eventually, if I've got multiple models registered, I can attach that as an extended property. So let's say I'm running in Azure and I've got a GPT-3.5 and a GPT-4o mini running and a couple other models for different things. Oh, look, tier 1 subs are inflating at $7.99 on October 1st. However, I cannot yet get subscribers. So, oh well. I need to be an affiliate for that first. Okay. So the model ID would actually become one of those extended properties in the function that we set up down here. We'd identify the model to use inside the function's extension data. So I don't need to worry about that here, but I am going to add it to my AI usage count, and I'm going to modify this to, and I'm going to stop my project so that I can rename it to AI usage. Yes, good. And I'm going to do a prop string, and the battery is low on my phone, but if I plug it in, it's going to start being weird. And I'm going to say model ID. There we go. Save it. Over in the LLM provider. And I need to get, first off, we're going to get the answer. And then I'm going to get var usage data equals query result for usage. And I'm going to pass my function result. And I'm going to add this method. And it needs to be below build, convert. And it's going to be private object. I'll get the real type for that in a minute. And go away notification. That is returning me a function result. result. And this is going to return me a AI usage object. And AI usage equals new AI usage. Did I make it a record? I did. So that means I need to do that. String model ID int input tokens int output tokens. Commas, Rob. All right. Hey, thanks for hanging out, Tomatoes. Take care of yourself. Remember to be kind to yourself. And hopefully I'll see you again soon. And prompt tokens equals input tokens. Response tokens equals output tokens. Boop! And we've got our record built. Come over here to LLM provider, new AI usage. Yeah. I'm trying to go with branding myself as wanting to be like the Bob Ross of code. And I beat myself up when I'm coding all the time too, but I want to get better about it. And I really want to encourage people to avoid negative self-talk when they're coding. Tokens in, whoops. It doesn't mean I avoid negative self-talk all the time when I'm coding, but I'm trying to be better about it. Input tokens. I'm just going to say 0. Output tokens is going to be 0 for now. And return the usage. Now, what I need to do, and this code, I'm sorry, it's going to be ugly. Int tokens in equals 0. Int tokens out equals 0. All right, Scram Tomatoes. Hopefully I'll see you again soon. Take care. And I can replace this. So tomatoes cannot be trusted, posted in the chat. One thing that helped me change views of my code is there is no bad code, but there is a better way to code something, but that requires failure. So with each line someone writes, they are slowly getting better. And that's an incredibly powerful and useful point of view. I quite like that. So good words, Tomatoes. That's some serious wisdom. And that is the attitude that one should take when writing code. Unless you're dealing with front-end browser JavaScript and CSS, then all bets are off. Because that part of the stack is just cranky. I'm still bitter about the difficulty I had earlier this week and late last week. Even though I theoretically slayed the dragon, var metadata. Even though I slayed the dragon, I'm still crusty about how that went down. Var usage equals metadata dot, not metadata, metadata. Try get value usage. And this is incredibly brittle. Why are you being dumb? So metadata is a read-only dictionary. It may be null. Oh, yeah, okay. And that's a bool. Out object usage data. And, ugh. What are you complaining about? All right. So metadata might be null, but if it's not null, we're going to try to get the value that is assigned to the usage entry in that dictionary. Because metadata is just a dictionary of string and object, nullable objects. Now, if usage data is not null, it is theoretically, I really don't like the idea of using OpenAI specific objects or specific classes in here, but I think it's what I'm going to have to do. So var usage equals usage data as, I don't even know the namespace to that. And I can't remember what any of that stuff was called because I've got a memory like a sieve. Comment. All right, this is still valid code. Good. We still have our breakpoint. Let's run it. NPCs. Let's just create, generate the AI description. And it's working. LLM is running. Okay, off it goes. Emberlyn Stormclaw. Ooh, I like that name. All right, so we've got our function result.toString. Good. I'm just going to step over that. Step in here. And let's see what these evals give us. Usage data is not null, and it's azure.ai.openai.completions usage. Can I copy that value? Give me Notepad. Ooh. Paste. Good. That's what I need. Go. Continue. Do the thing. Here's that. I'm a saver. Boop. Off to the database you go. Back to the list. And here's Emberlyn Stormclaw. All right, so I've got, oh, excuse me. Here's my Notepad document, and I can grab this. Copy. That. Var usage. Cannot be declared in this scope because that name is used in an enclosing local scope to define a local or parameter. Oh yeah, duh. And usage data. You know what? I'm going to do a thing that I counsel people to never do. No, I'm going to... There. Now I can say tokens in equals completions usage dot prompt tokens out equals completions usage dot completion tokens. And of course, those aren't nullable. Dot, can I do get value or default? Nope. But I can do default int with the null coalescing operator. So if completions usage cannot be cast as, or if the usage data cannot be cast as one of these things, then it's going to be null. And our tokens in will get set to the default value for integer, which is 0. Or, yeah, and the same thing there. And then we're going to pass this, we're going to assign all of that stuff to our usage object and return it back to our color, which is up here. Now, we want to add that to our response. Let's go to the definition. Result. So we're up in function response, right? Okay, good. And public AI usage, nullable, token usage, get and set. We may not have any token usage to add. Var usage data will return a nullable usage data. Okay. All right. And I'm going to set response dot token usage equals usage data. Save. Now, that's all going to come all the way back out to our we know it's going to get out to here, our workload manager, or our AI workload manager, I should say. And AI function result definition, stored function, function request, we do all that stuff. AI result is that. Now, AI result is going to have that usage data on it, in theory. A result is an AI function result. Excuse me. So we better do the same kind of thing out here in the workload manager as we did up in the LLM provider. Contracts, add a new class called AI consumption. And it's going to be a public record AI consumption. And we're going to have string. No, we're not going to do it that way. We're going to do prop string model ID prop int prompt tokens prop int completion tokens, and we need a constructor. And we got to take in a string model ID int input tokens int output tokens model ID equals model ID prompt input tokens and completion tokens equals output tokens. Good. And we got to add this to the AI function result. AI function result is successful. Function definition, errors, AI response, I believe, is the thing that we're assigning to. So let's look out here. Yep. And come over here. Public string AI consumption. Not a string, you silly goose. AI consumption. Usage data. No. Consumption. And is going to be nullable. Save. manager result dot consumption equals AI result dot usage dot my phone is running out of camera, or my phone is running out of battery. So I'm going to swap over to my desktop camera once again. Done. And let's go shrinky dinky doo. Oh, no. No, stop. Here we go. That's better. Gway. And I'm going to turn off my robot. That's really neat, but the iPhone battery and the fact that I can't use my phone while I'm using it as a camera is kind of a drag. But it sure is cool having it follow me. So I need to create a add class AI contract mappers. We're going to go internal static public static AI consumption to local. This, what's it called up there? AI usage provider model to local model. Come out to the end, do this, and AI consumption local equals new AI consumption return local and model ID gets provider model.model ID input tokens gets provider model dot prompt tokens output tokens gets provider model dot response tokens. And because that is technically a nullable string, I should do that. And I should do this. There we go. And here we are. And everything is a happy land. Save. Manager, token usage dot to local model. Okay. We're only going to do that if it's not null. To local model. Save. So now this information should come all the way back out to our API. Let's go into describe NPC. Filter townspeople. That's nonsense. Of course it does. Result. What even is happening? I'm going to save everything. Build. This thing is horribly confused because the code is working. It's just this source file seems to be out of date or something. Come on, here we go. La di da di da. I don't know why that's being goofy like that. All right. So here's this, generate, serialize clean, filter, generate, parse from, generate attributes. I feel like this describe NPC isn't right. Okay, so that's just happening out in program CS. Character workloads. Function async. Does it generate attributes? Excuse me. Yeah, this is it. I think describe NPC needs to be deprecated. Generate NPC, describe NPC. I'm going to, whoops, obsolete. This method is being deprecated. So come out to character workloads, generate attributes, blah, 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 blah. Function result dot is successful, AI JSON. So we can actually drop a breakpoint right here and make sure our usage data is coming back out. Excuse me. So let's create generate, and it's doing its thing. I do like to monitor the LLM when it does it. Excuse me. Goodness. And we're almost done with this session. As soon as I see that we've got that usage data, I am going to call this a done day. Now, while that's running, let's go to the GitHub project and actually add a task for me to go in and edit the prompt. I want to attach this to GM Tools. I'm going to assign myself. And I think we're on a breakpoint. We are. I'm going to cut that breakpoint, continue. Here's our character attributes. Here's our AI JSON that has been cleansed of all of the goo. But I want to look at function result. And I see 187 completion tokens. Our model is Phi3 Mini, and our prompt tokens are 849. Fantastic. We're going to be able to do something with those in a couple more days, because there's a little bit of work we got to go through before we can start actually using that stuff. But before I forget, again, add an instruction to the AI prompt to avoid including existing IP in generated stuff. I've observed that occasionally the language model will generate characters that are eerily similar to characters from existing, well-known IP that belongs to companies that have lots and lots of lawyers. Let's avoid pulling the litigation boss, shall we? And I'm going to label this as actually a defect and an enhancement. And let's just submit that as a new issue. We've done it. We're going to go back to the code. And, excuse me, because we've added the usage data collection and we've completed that particular process as data contracts and code to extract and populate token usage stats from the semantic kernel calls. Function calls. Commit. And I do want to go back to GitHub real quick to see if I've already got an issue in the project for I'm going to pull that over to in progress. Do I have an issue in the project for, oh gosh, I forgot what I was talking about here. Gosh, it must have been important, otherwise I wouldn't have decided to go to GitHub. I honestly don't remember. If I do, when I'm offline, I'll add it as a to-do item. But otherwise, I think we're in a pretty darn good spot. So what I'm going to do, oh gosh, it was something to do with the LLM. That I wanted to do before I issued the pull request. I'm going to fix the issues in the LLM access component, because this is all relevant to LLM access. The prompt is actually more related to the character generator. So I'm going to push off it goes. And you know what? I'm going to call this LLM tweaking done for now. I don't think there's anything else that I wanted to do in there. Let's come into GM tools. We'll do a compare and pull request. TechDet add config to LLM access. Added config to LLM access component and switched the rest of the system over to pre-configure that stuff where needed. Added usage tracking to the LLM component along with data contracts that can transmit that collected data all the way back to the client API shim. I'm going to assign myself. I'm going to put this on the GM Tools project. Bam. Labels is enhancement. And where's TechDet? Groovy. Create pull request. It's already assigned with a bunch of things. So we got to wait to run this check before I can squash and merge. You guys don't need to wait for that to happen. I think we're in a pretty darn good spot. And tomorrow, we're going to get into some stuff that we're going to get into some stuff, again, different stuff that I don't have a ton of direct experience with. I've always had the privilege of somebody else being there to set up what I'm about to set up. And I'm going to have to do a little bit of research tonight on what I need to have in place to be able to do what I'm about to do. And we're going to spend tomorrow morning doing a little bit of planning. And then we're going to start executing. Because I'm going to need to make some decisions about what my identity providers are going to be. And how I'm going to manage logins. Pull request successfully merged and closed. Boom. Today was a good day. Today was a very, very good day. What's all this stuff? Oh, 232 lines added, 77 deleted. Is that it? Is that correct? Files changed. Yeah, it looks like we added 232 lines and deleted a whole bunch. Yeah, nifty. Okay, so to you all, I say, have yourselves a good evening and take care of yourselves. Happy coding.